Et ça ne fonctionne pas. Parfait. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Stephanie Morisset. I work in the Circular Economy and Social Economy team here at the Métropole du Grand Paris. We are happy to welcome you on this micro-webinar on circular building as part of the Grand Paris Circulaire, the yearly event on circular economy and social economy for the Greater Paris area. I have the pleasure of being with Alice Birolo, Senior Consultant in Impulse Partner, who is going to tell us all about circular building in this short session together. Alice, welcome, and thank you for being here.
Hello, thank you. Thank you very much for having me.
And just so that our audience is a bit more familiar with what you do, can you tell us a few words about what Impulse Partner does?
Yes, for sure. So thank you very much again for having me. So just a few words. Impulse Partner is a strategy consulting firm specialized in innovation in construction, real estate, and industry sector, supporting managers of corporate SMEs and startups in their innovation strategy. So our role is to bring together different actors in the value chain of the construction and construction industry sector in order to develop innovation projects.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much. So to dwell a little bit more in what brings us together today, the topic of this micro-webinar is circular building. So when we talk about building and circular economy, what do we talk about actually?
Yes, so if you talk about building sector in France, we have to know that it represents nearly 5.2% of French gross domestic product and over 1.2 million jobs in 2021. So in France, the construction generates over 46 million tons of waste each year, including 10 million tons of secondary construction waste. So it's a huge amount. And 25% of waste in the construction field is non-hazardous and non-inert waste like plastic and metals, and nearly 55% of waste generated in the building industry inert waste. So this means concrete, glass, bricks, tiles, etc. And just to give you some key issues with in this sector in building in circular economy in the building sector and why this is so important. So first of all, we have to consider that recycling and recovery are two big axes that have to be considered in circular economy. Talking about recycling, materials consumption in the building sector will double over the period 2011-2060. So this is a really important fact to be known. And for the moment, just 30% of inert waste is recovered mainly for carry backfill, and just 25% of hazardous waste is recovered. So we talk about 15% recycling and 10% of energy recovery. And talking about recovery, 140 million tons of excavated material are generated each year in France. 42% of water used in the construction site is wasted, and the building sector represents 44% of energy consumed in France each year. So these are just these are all big challenges and issues that have to be underlined in order to identify the most relevant needs to optimize the building sector and undertaken stronger circular economy process. And talking about legal implication, we have to know that in France, for the first time, there will be a new anti-waste law operational from January 2022 that will include specific action from the building industry. So one of those actions are, for example, the creation of a polluter pay scheme for the building sector, and this is really the first time. Moreover, the installation of new professional waste collection center and new collection point for professional waste, and the free return of waste in waste collection center when they are sorted. So these are just some of the major aspects of this new law, but for sure, this law will move deeply and shake all the building industry and all the actors in the sector. So action has to be fast and industry must be prepared.
Great, thank you for this teasing of what's about to come in the circular building economy. We're talking mostly to companies, so if they hear problem, they hear opportunity. What would you say would be the biggest challenge where there's a gap in the market, or where the companies have something to offer to make this shift to circular economy a reality?
Yes, sure. Just to give you an overview on this, on the major challenges we can say that will be really important in the next year. So for sure, we have to consider that circular economy has three main principles that are at its base, that are recycling, recovery of resources, and the reuse of the construction materials. So this means recycle waste to refill the raw material pool, reduce at the source the consumption of raw material and also the cost of their transportation by sourcing locally, and reuse material once the object has reached the end of its life. So for all of these aspects, we think that there are some relevant topics at this day that are really important and are going to be developed more and more. So talking about recycling, we have the reduction of footprint, carbon footprint. This is a huge theme, really important. The optimization of margins and the collection and treatment of waste that sometimes can be quite difficult for companies and SMEs in the sector. Talking about reuse recovery, resource recovery, sorry. Some themes that are and topics that are really important is the valorization of unexploited resource, and that can represent a huge market for new commercial opportunities. The carbon capture, that is another big topic, and the recovery of site resource, such as the excavated soil, water from the construction site, etc., and the energy recovery too from the building. And talking about the reuse of the construction material, we have the promotion of intermediation for exchange of material, the traceability aspects for building materials, and the optimization of margins through the resales of material. So these are.
So if it hasn't been done, if it hasn't been done yet, it means we need innovation to fill this gap.
Yeah, exactly. And this is. This is a real challenges to set up a circular process in the building sector that for sure represent a strong economic potential for the construction industry.
And you wanted to give us some examples?
Yeah, for example, if we go on, okay, we have identified a lot of innovation in circular economy in the construction sector. For example, here we can say we can see some solutions that are part of our accelerator circular and cities and territories, that is part of Impulse Labs, and we have identified 5 major topics in which there are a lot of solutions that we have already with which we are in touch and we have already identified. We talk about materials, products and equipment, waste from economic activities, space and uses, energy and water. And just to give you our feeling about this solution and this is innovation. This is kind of innovation. We think that so the construction sector is a really big sector. We have seen it's really important all over the world and in France particularly, but it remains still under-optimized because it's highly fragmented, ruled by local regulation, and unable to address globally the environmental and productivity challenges. So we are convinced that there are still a huge opportunity for innovation and for entrepreneurs in this field, and more specifically in circular economy solutions. So startups and SME will be a kind of leverage to reinforce the role of circular economy in the building sector, and we are sure that will also help to reshape the building industry and to improve efficiency and sustainability in the sector.
Great. Thank you for this perspective. And what would you say would be the key drivers in the market for the coming years?
Yeah, so for sure, if we talk about next year's and also the specific, the specific case of the Great Paris areas, we have to really be sure to understand and know well the local context. So for this means the knowledge of two major projects that are transforming the greater Paris area. These are project sites that will be an important territory of experimentation and demonstration, as well as remarkable springboard to launch new initiatives and reflection in the field of circular economy. So we are talking about Grand Paris Express project and the Olympic Game 2024 project. And moreover...
Can you explain what the Great Grand Paris Express is?
Sorry?
The Grand Paris Express, for those who do not know what it is about.
Yeah, it's the project of the metro line that will be developed all around Paris. And so it's a huge project that will connect all the territory around the city of Paris. So it will include a lot of town and territories that are that will be developed more and more, also thanks to these new projects. And moreover, just to give you some perspective and major project that will come in the next year. So first of all, we have to say that, as I was saying, we have identified a lot of small initiatives in circular economy that are coming out, but still all these dynamics and projects need to have a structured approach and a frame in the building sector. So there is still a lot of action that has to be taken. And talking about topics and themes that will be relevant for the next years, we have the carbon capture and recovery. We have seen a lot of innovation that are currently at the demonstration stage and that will emerge more and more in the coming year. The increasing of traceability of materials. So, for example, we have identified solutions of platforms that aggregate national data on actors who produce, for example, bio-waste, construction material, excavated earth, and whose aim is to link this actor and their activity in order to develop a real value chain in the circular economy and in the construction field. And the energy recovery. So, for example, biogas, the recovery of fatal heat, and the fact of using the recovery, for example, of data center heat to make methanization could be a solution that is really interesting and that will be more and more important in the next year.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Alice. If you are okay, I think we covered the good basis of our topic today about circular economy and circular building. I'd like to...
Maybe if I can complete, if for example foreign startups or foreign company will be interested in enter the French market, the Great Paris area market, and to have a deeper knowledge of the context of the local regulation or local ecosystem, for example, these for sure are really important element to know in order to be prepared and have the good solution for the projects that are developing in this area. And we will be pleased at Impulse Partner to help you in order to access the French market and to have a global overview and the good contact to enter the local ecosystem.
Perfect, thank you. I was going to ask you to talk about this, but perfect, it's done. I'd like to apologize for the network quality that was a bit so-so at the time, but thank you very much for joining us, Alice, today to talk about circular economy. Thank you very much to all of you for your attention. And Alice, so as much as myself, we are both available to discuss further if you are interested in coming to settle in the Greater Paris area. Thank you very much for your attention, and thank you very much as well for promoting circular economy in your activities.
Thank you very much.
Now, and thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Bye.